This is my 4-block tall high Portcullis design, or Castle Gate in more vernacular terms. It takes up a footprint of about 10 by 10 by 25 with a interior gate height of 6. And yeah, we have an opening, we have a closing. So for this tutorial, we'll need the materials that are listed on screen. A lot of observers. I know it's a little observer heavy, but I mean, that's just the simplest way to get the timing down. It's from like a gargantuan mess down to this. Yeah. We're going to start with our block down in the corner here. And we're going to place 9 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is going to act as our bridge that we're going to read signals off of for the timing circuit. So we're going to place down powered rails on top of this. Then we're going to go up, place an observer facing down. I'm going to place another observer facing down. And then we're going to continue this out towards the end. Like that. And then we're going to place an observer on the last one. And then we're going to go back to the beginning. And there's going to be a gap of 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then on the 4th block, we're going to place an observer facing down. Okay. And then we need to extend the length of this a little bit more. So we're going to place an observer facing here. And then observers coming back over this way. Up to this line. Or actually one less. And then we're going to place an observer facing up. And then we're going to take some solid blocks. We're going to place them along here. And then we're going to place some redstone dust along. No redstone dust on this top one. Just on these 3. And then we're going to take some more solid blocks. We're going to go out 7. So that's 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to place power rails on top of here. This design can be pushed out to 9. So you could do like this. But for the purposes of the tutorial, I'm just going to make the 7 wide version, as I feel like that's probably the most applicable, because that'll leave you with a 5 wide entrance. And then we're going to take another observer input here, and we're going to go out another 7 blocks. Okay, and then we're going to place some solid blocks like this, some redstone dust down, and you'll see that that starts to set stuff off, but we're just going to place this now so we don't accidentally activate it when we're finishing the closing circuit. Okay, so we're now going to take some observers, and we're going to continue the line across this way. And then we're going to take our sticky pistons, and we're going to make a row 3 tall. And then we're going to put normal pistons on the top. It's very important the top is normal pistons, because otherwise the gravel will break on the retraction. Okay, and then we're going to place another row of observers facing up. We're going to continue this until this is 3 tall. And then we're going to place a row of observers like this. Then we're going to place a row of observers like this. Another row of observers. And then we're going to place another row. We're just going to do this just to make it easy. Oh, come on. to place a row of observers facing vertical. Come on. And then we're going to place another final row of observers just facing into those. And now we're going to start on the other side of the closing mechanism. So we'll need some note blocks. Another row of observers. Another row of note blocks. And then we're going to start on the very top part. So we're going to place a row of observers like that. Another row of observers. We're going to place some solid blocks in here just to block the noise. Going to place another row of note blocks. Another row of observers. Another row of observers up top. And this will be the observers that actually power the gravel in order to allow the final stage of retraction. Then we're going to take some redstone dust, place it along the top here. Then we'll add some gravel. And then we can place gravel up on top of here. We'll just add a little bit here. Okay. And then we will start, and you can test whether or not the the opening works. You can see it works perfectly. It goes up 4 blocks, and then it comes right back down. Okay, so now we're going to start on the actual gate part. This can be, like I said, this can be any width up to 9 blocks, but for the purposes of this, we're just going to be doing 7. I could later on release a tutorial on how to increase this to 9 blocks, but that's 6, 4, 5. So we want this gate part to be 6 blocks tall, because it can't be 7, because otherwise we run into the push limit of pistons. So because the bottom piston is pushing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another 6, so that's 12. So we're right at the push limit. So then we want pistons. We want a row of pistons like that. Another row of pistons. And we want 4 layers of this. So that's 3. My God. 4. There we go. And then now we want, I mean, this is really simple. This is just like a non-retracting 4-block extender. We place blocks like that, some redstone dust with repeaters. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit to the end here. We're going to take a repeater, set it to 2 ticks. That's very important. Take another We're going to do the same thing here. Again, repeater on 2 ticks and make sure there's redstone actually going down behind. I realized that I forgot to include this repeater here. So there's these 2 tick repeaters, and then we're just going to add another repeater here, also on 2 ticks, the block behind it, and redstone dust. And then we're going to start on the closing sequence circuitry. So let's just put in some brick. We're just going to make this kind of an impromptu entrance icon. Oh. Okay. Chiseled. Actually, I already have that. We're just going to use this to put the buttons on. So stone button. One on this side. One on this side. Pick block. Then we're going to place some redstone, and then we're going to take another 2 sticky pistons. We're going to face one up, and then we're going to face one down. Okay, and then now we're going to place an observer here, and then we're going to place another sticky piston up here, and then we're going to place, there needs to be a gap for this observer starting out, and then we're going to place a solid block, a normal piston, one, two, three, four, 5 glass. And then we're going to place an observer facing this way. And then we're going to place another gap in a piston facing down. And then we're going to place a solid block next to that piston, a redstone on top, and then redstone dot. The opening sequence is pretty simple. It's just an observer facing into a solid block with a piston beneath, and then another observer. So now we can test it out. Okay, one revision that I noticed, because this doesn't cross chunk borders, and of course this does, you're going to have to make a little revision. So instead of having the blocks go across like this, you're going to place note blocks along the top of the pistons and then redstone dust. There's an issue with quasi-connectivity, which is bizarre because this one works, where the second tier of pistons was activating, preventing a full closure, but with this, now we can test it out. Fully opens, and it fully closes. Still leaving those all on 2 ticks, but just replacing the top with a row of note blocks and then redstone dust on top. So yeah, that's the 4 block tall portcullis, and it opens and it closes. All of the solid blocks can be changed out for anything. These don't have to be spruce, obviously. But yeah, you can incorporate this into any build as long as you can fit that in your gatehouse. So yeah, anyways, that's that.